everybody, welcome back for another video. You know how I am. Occasionally I get this urge that I have to go in my garage. I have to find something or dismantle something so I can shoot it. That's how I feel today. I think I'm going to use the VKS, and I think we're going to shoot what was attached to this thing. Maybe you recognize what I'm talking about here. What I took off of this is going to be our target today, and you'll see it in a minute. And we're also going to revisit some ceramic tiles. So stay tuned for more destruction testing with my VKS. All right, this is it. This is our new target. This is a hard metal DirectTV dish, as you can see. I'm going to give it a shot and see. I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to shoot this with the VKS. There are a couple screw holes here where I disassembled it. I'm going to cover those up with a piece of duct tape, and then we're going to give it a few shots and see what we can do. All right, I got the VKS. Let's charge it up. I'm expecting a potential ricochet, so I've got it at an angle going away from all of the sensitive parts of the basement here, the furnace. I'm going to take one shot on the target just to make sure everything's good. Then I'm going to get down behind a barrier and I'm going to fire the next shot. So let me get my optic on and we'll be ready. Okay, first shot's going to be on the target. Let's just see how it does. Okay, it's working. All right, let's give it a try. All right, one more. All right, we're bouncing back for sure. So let's go take a look. We obviously did not penetrate this, but you can see the two holes here, not holes, but the dents. One here, one here. And then flip it onto the back side and you can see the two protrusions. Now I've got my VKS, I turned it up another 2 turns from my typical 40-ish. I imagine this is up probably in the 42, 43 range. Not maxing it out, not at 50 joules. I think at 50 joules, you're going to start somewhere between 50 and 60s where you're going to start putting these things through every time. And that would be consistent with what I've seen other people getting. It obviously depends on your metal target. I thought this is probably the most extreme target that I've tried in terms of metal. And it's a classic DirectTV dish. This is the one that you would use. So this would be the standard if anybody wanted to have a control. And as you can see, that is a lot of punch. And I still like the compromise. I like the ability to punch with that level of force that you see there. And I like to be able to do that. Where are my 2 holes? Here they are. One here, one here. I like to be able to do that and still have plenty of air and plenty of shots, and also not be at the highest level where my VKS is maxed out. I think of my VKS, you think of these air guns, especially these 68 caliber markers, sort of like a sports car. Sure, your sports car, your Ferrari can go around the track. Maybe you can hit, what, 200 miles per hour? But, you know, race cars, Ferraris, whatever the sports car is, if you run it at that high level long enough, it will break. That's why when they have races, they have pit stops, they have to make repairs and changes. Those cars will outrun, you know, any car on the street, but they have to do changes, change tires. That's analogous to changing your O-rings. Lubing, things break. So I tend to err on the side of tuning it down. If you can get 100%, I go for 80%, and I want to be sure that it's going to be more reliable. And I'll take this type of punch any day. It doesn't have to go through. It just needs to deter and change someone's mind. And I think this is more than sufficient to do that. Let's revisit a piece of ceramic tile and see how we do the VKS. Saw that. That's the Grimburg JUL broke down here again, just like last time when I was using my TCP. And this time with the VKS, it broke again. The ceramic tile is able to break JULs. These JULs will not break on a metal DirectTV dish, but when they hit ceramic tile, they break. Go figure. But the ceramic tile will also break. So it's sort of a, again, it's a draw with the Grimburg JUL versus the ceramic tile. This tile is, you know, it's fragile in that it will crumble and it will break if you hit it just right, but it will break these because it does not give. I think because this is really hard, these will give, these will break and deliver the energy, and then that will crack and break. So this is really a tale of two materials. We got a broken ceramic tile in here, as you can see. Ceramic tile, extremely hard, but it's fragile enough to shatter, but at the same time, the Grimburg JULs shatter into, in this case, I found four pieces of Grimburg JUL that broke. And then they gave me all of this. So I was able to just really chop off the bottom and break into a bunch of pieces. But on this target, they just bounce and they deflect because it gives enough, and then they go away. So really the test that you do, if you want to test projectiles, you need to be familiar with the material that you're using. Metal, there's different types of metal. Some metal's harder than others. This type of tile will give you a great visual effect and it'll break, but it breaks easier than the metal, of course, but then it actually is so hard that the JULs will not survive. And so I think that, I don't know what's the take-home message from that, but I find it interesting that they survive hitting metal, and I've shot many other hard things before and they never break. The only thing that I have ever had them break on is the ceramic tile. And this tile is something that I was able to show you before. If I hit it enough times with something hard, it'll crack and it'll break. But that surface is extremely hard and unforgiving. There's a layer on top here that is extremely hard, even though the inner part is a little bit more porous and more easy to break. So that's the story. It really doesn't matter in the end. If your projectile breaks or not, it's going to dump the energy either way. Now there's another fairly important point I want to make. I see a lot of videos where people shoot, and as you can see here, this protrusion is now become quite, you know, expanded, and it's going to be more sensitive to another shot in the same area. Same thing here. This one is the same way. It now becomes more fragile. And my point is that I don't think it's necessary that you have to puncture metal in order to be a reliable, functional, less lethal launcher combination. And I see a lot of examples where relatively low-powered launchers are shot, multiple shots, trying to get them in the same spot, And eventually, if you shoot 10 shots here, all in the same spot, you're going to weaken that area enough that you're going to create a hole. And then you're going to claim, oh, look, I was able to get through this really hard metal with my 20 or 30 joule launcher. Well, the reality is that's fine if you want to say that, but the reality is I don't feel the need. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I don't have any agenda. I want you to see what these things will do on an individual shot basis. In an actual self-defense situation, you're not going to be tapping the same spot 10 times in a row. You're going to be moving, the target's going to be moving. You'll be lucky to land one or two of these in really good sensitive areas. And so you really need to look at it on a per shot basis. And that's just something that I wanted to say about this as well. I could have probably created a hole by just continuing to tap the same area and trying to do that. And that's just not my goal. That's not the interest. That's not the goal of this experiment. So, but it's important to realize sometimes that you'll see claims that X, Y, and Z will do this, and it's because there are many shots going in the same spot. And I just want you to realize that that's unrealistic. That's just trying to make a more exaggerated claim about something. So Mango, thanks you for sticking around. I thank you for sticking around. This was a long video, a little bit of talking, not a lot of shooting, but I hope you learned something. I just want to deliver messages that show you the capabilities, realistic examples of what you get when you use these. And I just want everyone to know the limitations, the strengths, the weaknesses. That's the goal of this channel. Stay tuned for more. Everybody take care, be safe, and we'll catch you in the next one.